I just feel like I'm kind of so sick of what I see on social media half the time. And I feel like Substack is that next evolution in social media where to a more real type of content.
Did you know that on social media, only 1 to 3% of your followers are actually seeing your posts? Many are struggling, so it's no wonder creators are quitting social media right now. Algorithms have turned the follower into a ghost town, creators are sick and tired of wasting their time, and where do they go? They get on the newsletter platform Substack. Meet Tom Kuegler, who ditched hundreds of thousands of followers on YouTube, Medium, Facebook, and LinkedIn to chase real connections on Substack instead of feeling pushed to create content he hated just to gain more followers, views, and likes. He's no longer chasing 100k a year with just followers. Now his goal is to hit that mark with subscribers instead. So Tom Kuegler, many thanks for joining my interview today. It's really an honor because I've been a fan from day one. So the first time I found you was, I guess, in 2020 when I started writing on Medium, and you for me were like everywhere together with Tim Denning, and this was the time when I found you on Medium, the postgrad survival guide. Everything started, I guess, and somehow everything also ended because I heard that you tried to become a booster or something, and they didn't accept you. Is this correct, Tom?
Yeah, this is correct. We, I think I'm trying to remember what the timeline of this was. I think it was like mid 2019 to kind of like early 2021, let's say. We were really trying to win one of those contracts with Medium where, they were paying out, I think, a certain portion of money, like a stipend or something to the people who ran publications. I had Stephen Moore as my editor, and he has I think over 60,000 followers on Medium now. He's incredible. He's an incredible writer, and he came on as my editor, I think, in like 2018. And we really tried over the next year to build up a publication that had stricter rules, that had stricter guidelines, and we wanted to make a place where it really had the best quality writing on Medium. Not the best, but like the best authors publishing there. And we really wanted to make it a respectable publication, and we did. We grew by a lot. There was one month, I think in 2019, where we had like 500,000 views in 1 month. We had, Nicholas Cole writing there, Jessica Wildfire. We had some of the biggest names on Medium writing for our publication, and it was a big deal. And we thought, okay, we've done the work, and I was paying Stephen throughout this whole time. Monthly. I was paying him like a pretty good bit of money per month to run the publication. And throughout this whole time, we were just, I contacted Medium and I said, hey, we've been publishing great work from all of these great authors. We think we have a great niche. We think we offer something specific to Medium, and we think that we would love to talk about maybe creating a contract so that I can get Stephen to work more hours and so that he can do more. And they said, sure. So they started getting on calls with us every now and then, and they started to talk to us and tell us that a contract was coming, that they'd send a contract soon, and the contract would never come. And I honestly think that there was some internal stuff going on at Medium because they might have been thinking we want to go in a different direction. We probably got in at just the wrong time, Christina. Honestly, I don't really want to blame Medium too much, but there is a little bit of there's a little bit of anger I hold towards them a little bit because I was paying Stephen and they were kind of promising that a contract was coming, and I'm kind of losing money waiting for the contract to come, and it never comes, and I'm stuck a certain amount of money. Meanwhile, I'm paying money to make sure that the Medium ecosystem, I think, is better. Stephen gave great advice to writers, that he gave feedback on drafts. He helped them tweak things to make them better. And I think we really had a great impact on Medium, and I think we really drove a lot of value for Medium, and they ended up benefiting from that with their memberships. And we never got any of that, and also I never got kind of compensated for creating something that valuable. And so I kind of have a little bit of anger towards Medium for that, honestly, to this day. But I've let it go, and I'm happy to be on Substack now and all that.
And this was, I
Yeah.
guess, the time when you tried to get in this Boost Better program. Am I right? And then again, they somehow rejected you.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was talking to Tony when he took over, and I was really excited for the future of Medium. He said that publications were going to be like, central to the future of Medium, and I said, well, I had to let Steven go like in late 2021. I think Tony took over in like mid 2022. So I was thinking like maybe I could revive the postgrad. We still have lots of people who follow us. We still have people who want to know who would want to read us, and so I tried to get involved and I tried to be a Boost nominator, but they never got back to me. So I just thought like, this was that was their opportunity to kind of make up for what happened in the past, and I could have gotten Steven to come back on and work with me, and we could have done great things together. And I think we had a niche that was very well defined and had already been proven as something that people wanted to read more of, and it just never materialized. And that's part of it in business, I think, to a certain extent. Like I took a risk, and we did great work, and I'm very proud of all the stories we published, and I'm very happy that we managed. I mean, we helped authors earn thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars with our publication, and I'm very, very proud of that, and that's something that I'll always be proud of.
What would be your advice for Medium? What would you say is not going right on Medium at the moment?
Well, I honestly, like, now that I've been on Substack for so long, Christina, I feel like Substack is actually like the best model, because their incentives create a system where people subscribe to the writers they love, and instead of like on Medium I had followers, but who knows, like an algorithm change could mean that my followers don't get my articles on their homepage. Like it was something crazy. Like not even 1% of my followers were getting my articles at the very end there. It's like, what's going on there?
I remember exactly this. You shared a conversation on X, and then someone from Medium staff replied, and he was saying, it's true. And I was like, what? And I wrote a story about exactly this, and no one believed it. And then I also shared the screenshot from X where you were talking with this guy, and I was like, oh no, maybe, he's leaked something here. But I also was asking, you could earn the same money with 500 followers as you could earn now with 12,000 followers, so no matter where, even in the past, no matter where you started, the follower count, was definitely a vanity metric, I think, on Medium.
Yeah. I think as well too, Christina, like when you define what content should or shouldn't get boosted, I feel like it's people's natural inclination when money is involved to create content that would have the best chance to get boosted. So you then start to kind of betray yourself creatively. Like there's a lot of articles that I made, like 9 ways to live a better life, 20 lessons I learned in my 20s that it's like all that stuff was made because I wanted to get more views and I wanted to make more money. It wasn't because, and I wanted to give people, I wanted to give myself the best opportunity to go viral. Now, I tried my best to like put my emotion into all my articles, but there was a very real strategic decision behind a lot of that content. And I find that on Substack, when I try to republish that kind of stuff, it just doesn't do well. And I feel like people have just kind of gotten sick of that, and I feel like on Substack, people can write stuff with a title like, like an ode to my shoes or something, and it does well. And it's because people are subscribed to somebody and they get their work because they really value their work. And I feel like on Substack, you don't, like, there is no game there with that. Like, I'm not going to make an article about a specific topic because I think it'll go viral. Like, I'm going to write an article that means something to me first. And I feel like that creates much better content. I feel like it creates much more honest, thoughtful, engaging writing that the author is actually very excited about, rather than you go to Medium and you're just trying to please the boosters. That's what ends up happening. And Medium, I feel like I think that their heart is in the right place. I think they also publish a lot of quality content for sure. But I also feel like there might be like a very real type of post that does well, and you might have a lot of people that start to just try to write a post that they think will do well rather than write something that means something to them, which kind of sucks, because like my best work comes when I stay true to myself and I write something I would want to read and something that is speaking to me right now. And I always felt on Medium like I had to kind of like play the middle ground. I had to like write what I felt, but I also had to like make sacrifices to create work that I thought would go viral and that I thought would do well in the algorithm. And so on Substack, I don't really feel that too much, and I like that.
Do you think that you would ever come back to Medium, for instance, to like leverage your Substack newsletter?
I would come back if leadership changed and if they changed how they ran the platform. But that's pretty much the only reason. I mean, me quitting Medium was not the best business move. I want people to know that, like it would have made more sense for me to just kind of stay on and continue to like kind of promote Medium as this good place. I mean, like I think for some people they're finding success. I actually think I don't really know all of what's happening on Medium now. I've really been kind of just blocked it out of my mind for the past year. I don't know how Medium is now. I get lots of messages from people that say I'm making a lot of good money on Medium. So it could be it could be better now. I really don't know, and I wish them the best. But yeah, the only way I would come back is if leadership changed and if they changed like the whole system of like nominations and Boost nominations. I don't know. I just feel like it really pollutes what like the true creative north for people, because like on platforms like Twitter or LinkedIn, like that's why we see so many people posting a lot of the same stuff. It's because they know what works and they just do what works, and everybody does it, and then everybody's the same, and then it creates like a really boring ecosystem of content, I think. And I don't know. Maybe Medium has found a way to do that better than other platforms with their nomination system. I'm not sure. So
how do you feel about this, that now on Substack you don't have an algorithm anymore, and then you can be Tom Kuegler?
Yeah, I think one thing I try to do, Christina, too, like with my writing on Medium, like there was like, I think the format and the type of posts was always like, not always, but a lot of the times I would try to maybe make the form of the post something that I think would go viral, like a listicle or something of that nature. But whenever I sat down to actually write it, I tried to put as much emotion into it as I could. I mean, like there's a lot of times like when I was writing on Medium where like I really felt like when I kind of scheduled the post to go out the next day, that I was very proud of it, and that was way more often than not, but I also do feel like I had to really try to figure out a way to market it that got more views and eyeballs, and I had to play that game, that clickbait game of like presenting it in a way to get people to click, and then when they read it, hopefully like my authentic self would kind of come through a little bit and they could connect with that, so it was like a 50-50 game that I was playing, and I feel like if I just tried to play the game, I wouldn't have done as well. And if I just tried to write what I wanted to write, I wouldn't have done as well either, And so on Substack, honestly, Christina, like I feel like, I've really grown a lot as, like I've learned a lot of lessons on social media. I've grown everywhere. I don't want to like sound like cocky or something. Like I've figured out how to grow everywhere, and it just doesn't do anything for me at the end of the day to just have more followers and stuff, or to have more money. I would much rather. I'm in this season of life now where I want to create something that means a lot to me. Like where, like I'm writing letters with my dad now. We have a publication together on Substack, and he writes a letter to me one week, and then I respond. And like I'm crying writing these letters sometimes, And that's not something that normally happens for me. And I think there's just something about the platform that really makes me want to, just go there with my stuff. And I'm really excited to see where I kind of go in the future as well. And where, like, I wonder, Christina, like, where, if Substack had existed when Medium existed in like 2016, and if I had just gone full time into Substack, what would my writing look like now? If I had never played the game, if I never got distracted by all these platforms, like, where would my writing be right now if it was more organic, let's say, and less focused on pleasing an algorithm? I think I'm starting that journey now, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next few years as my writing evolves.
Hey, it's Christina God. Going down that rabbit hole of chasing views and likes is so easy. It's also so easy to lose sight of why you started creating in the first place, when you're constantly bombarded with metrics and comparisons. Inside my membership experience, the online writing school, you have the opportunity to connect with other writers, ask questions, share your dreams and fears, and just be yourself. If you say in the past, I would have spent more hours of like freelance writing life on Substack, what would have happened? Could you tell us a bit more about the time you had in the past and the time you have now? Is it like 40 hours, or were you like writing for 60, 80 hours? Because this is something that I would love to know. Were you someone who wrote stories like, I only have this like 4 days a week, and you were struggling, and getting all these views? Or were you someone who, I don't know, were honest and were sharing, I'm writing like for 7 days per week, 24 hours or something?
Yeah, well, okay, so like back when I had my YouTube channel and was posting on LinkedIn, I would probably spend about 2 hours per day writing a Medium post. I would post like 5 times a week, so I would always spend 2 hours a day writing the post for the next day, and I would write it up, I'd edit it, and I'd schedule it, and I'd go boom, with that. And I would also spend, so that's about 10 hours per week. I would also spend like anywhere from 10 to 20 hours on my next YouTube channel, my next YouTube video, or my next Facebook video. Typically a Facebook video would take me about, let's just say, like 8 to 10 hours per week. And then I made a YouTube vlog. I was crazy. I would make different videos for each channel. So I was really spending like an inordinate amount of time on my videos that accounted for maybe 20% of my income. And then I would spend the remaining, I would work about probably 40 hours per week. I'd spend the remaining 10 hours on like admin stuff, answering emails, maybe posting on Instagram. I mean, I had an Instagram account. I deleted that. Had a Twitter account. I deleted that. Facebook, deleted that. And so I was stuck kind of just playing a lot of games, trying to get all my bases in a row. Now I'm working probably about 30 hours a week, let's say, writing notes, running my programs, doing things like that. I don't spend as much time writing every week because I write once a week on my publications, and I'm just copy pasting a lot of the stuff that I wrote in the past because I think it's still good. So I'm not really spending a lot of time writing. I do write new stuff with my dad. Every time I publish something new, it's something that I wrote, whatever. You get what I mean. It's something I wrote that week, and so that's basically kind of where I'm at now. I would love Christina to get to a point where I'm doing writing. Like I'm actually making money writing. I'm writing what I want to write, and I have paid subscribers for that, and I'm making a full-time living doing that. And I feel like I always had to kind of lean on the fact I made good money with the partner program for a while, writing about a lot of different things, but I always felt like I had to lean on my courses about Medium to make a full-time income. And I want to get to a point where I can just make money writing what I want to write, period.
When you quit Medium, then you also left like $100,000 per year behind somehow, and now you're at like $40,000. And your goal for this year, 2024, is to gain again 100,000, or you said a decent income. Where do you think are you right now with also the campfire going on? I'm not sure which other courses you're also offering and your paid newsletter and everything. Where do you think are you right now then?
I'm probably at about 30,000 for this year. I had a good month this month with my campfire, publishing that. I made a Substack course in May and April, and I've published that, well, actually March and April, and I published that in May. And so I haven't really properly sold that yet. So that's still kind of just, I got so busy with my campfire stuff. So, but like I see the back end of my mind of a writer, like the paid subscribers are going up. The next year, like I really want to try to get my paid subscribers up for my Finding Tom news, my personal writing, and also like me and my dad's newsletter. If we ever want to monetize that one day, that'd be cool too. And so yeah, like that's kind of where I'm at now, and I think that I'll probably have a pretty good end of the year, and I hope that I can get at least past. I hope I can get at least past like 50K, perhaps, if I've already made 30. So that's 5 months. So yeah, it'd be about 4.
You will.
Yeah,
you will, Tom. You definitely will. I'm 100% sure about this. So this means still that you're making like, let's say 90% with your courses and then 10% with your actual writing, you know?
Yeah, basically that.
And could you share a bit more about the campfire idea, and what makes notes so special?
Yeah, well, I started kind of writing notes on Substack, which are just basically like kind of like tweets or like a LinkedIn post, like kind of short form content. I started posting notes January of this year. And I noticed like after like basically a week of posting, like I was like, all right, one of them got like 100 likes, and that kind of drove some good subscribers for me. So maybe there's something here. And I had a bunch of posts that I already wrote on LinkedIn, and I decided maybe I could just like kind of copy paste just to see what would happen. And so, yeah, like notes have been extraordinary for growth. They've helped me grow by thousands of subscribers in a matter of months, and we've really done well publishing notes on Substack. So I think that they're a really good like engine for growth. And I think that, it's not really saturated. It's not like Twitter or not like Facebook or Instagram. Like there's not a lot of people on notes. So, and I also feel like it's kind of really early. So that's really enticing to me, like trying to be an influence on like the first couple months of really like when it starts to catch hold and grow. And I really wanted to, with the campfire, Michael Simmons came to me, good writer on Substack, and he came to me and he said, like, what do you think about doing like a program on LinkedIn, like a cohort on Substack, like you're doing on LinkedIn, like Ship 30. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to do that again, because like it takes so much out of you to do a cohort, it really does. And but I decided, like, let's do it. Like, let's go ahead and do it. Michael's a cool guy, and he wanted to do something cool for notes. We wanted to champion notes. We wanted to do something good for the Substack ecosystem. There's lots of like meta posts about Substack, which I write too, and writing, and that's great. But we wanted to make sure that it kind of grew past that a little bit, and we had more of an impact and had people write about a lot of different things, and just develop a writing habit and all that kind of stuff. So we just decided to make a cohort about writing notes on Substack for 4 weeks straight, every day. And that was the pitch. And we did pretty well. We had I think 70 people involved 80 people involved with this first program, including people we comped as well, like mentors like you, Christina, and all of them. So yeah, we've done well, and that's basically the idea of the campfire.
How much money did you actually spend in the past and now on promoting and marketing all your courses? And how important do you think is marketing and hyping yourself, branding yourself for being a writer in general?
I don't know if I ever spent any money on marketing, like ads or anything like that. It was all organic. Like it was all, I would write an article on Medium, and I'd always have a link to my 5-day course at the bottom of my articles, no matter what I wrote about, whether it was personal travel, like writing advice, creativity, whatever. It was always there. And so I never spent any money on that. I kind of got to a point where a lot of my funnel back then was automated. I had the email sign up, and they got the 5-day course, and they could get the 5-day email course. And then I also had like a system where as soon as they sign up for the 5-day course, I'm really letting you in here, Christina, and I'm, and this is, some people might think this is a little questionable what I was doing back then. I assure you, I don't do this anymore. I had a link to a webinar sign up, so they could sign up for a webinar that I did. It was pre-recorded.
I know what's coming now. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So they could sign up for the pre-recorded webinar, and then they could watch it, and then like everything like looked live. Like it looked 100% live. And I had the course sign up, and I had everything there, and they could sign up for the course there. And they did, and that was like basically just me automating the whole thing. And maybe like putting it on autopilot. I did like update the webinar like every 6 months or so to make sure that all the information was still clear. I tried my best to keep all of that in line, but yeah, I'm not so sure. Like I feel like in the online marketing world, Christina, this is like a whole other topic. I feel like there's just a lot of stuff that like nobody really like. There's businesses built around giving you tools to do certain things. And like, there's no real talk about like whether it's ethical or not, to do something like that, to make people think that something is live. And I kind of feel like at that time, I just didn't really think like this is wrong at all, And I don't know if it's wrong. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But like my big thing was, if they're going to sign up for my course, I'm going to make sure that it's really good. And if they don't like it, I'll give them a refund. No problem. But, that was kind of my funnel back in the day. It was all automated. The only time I spent marketing was just the articles that I wrote, which were kind of fun to write a lot of times. So didn't really feel like it. And then also like maybe like an email every now and then to my list, talking about like maybe a sale that I do with my course, which didn't take me too long. So I don't know, maybe how many hours was I spending on pure marketing? Maybe like 5 hours per month, maybe.
That's good.
Outside of the writing, and then also like updating my course every 6 months or so. I'd update my course, so that would take, I don't know, like 20, 30 hours, 40. I don't know. I'm not sure.
And compared to today?
Yeah. Well, today, like I'm really launching a lot of different like stuff at once, and I did my cohorts for a while, and I always did live launches for that. No pre-recorded webinars involved in that. And I always did live emails. I wrote the emails up. I'm guessing maybe like 10 hours per month on marketing, let's say. Maybe 5 to 10 still. Like I promote my Mind of a Writer community, my 7-day sprint. I write an email for that. That takes me an hour or two. And I'm trying to think, because like so much has changed, Christina, too. Like, I'm offering many different products at once. It's been really weird and hectic for me these past few months. It's kind of hard, but yeah, I would say, let's say 10 hours I'm spending marketing.
I still remember, the exact moment when I, for the first time, joined one of your live sessions. When I joined, I was like, okay, this is pre-recorded. But of course, because I have like this marketing brain, and I saw this. And then what I did was, you had like these, you can join now, you can join like in a few hours, you can join tomorrow, And I was like, okay. So the next day, again, I jumped into it and was the exact same thing. And I was like, okay, this is how Tom is doing it. But I thought it's pretty smart. And you are not the only one who's doing this when you were talking like about this ethical thing of writing and promoting your work, because there are many, many, even New York Times bestselling authors who are doing the exact same thing. Is the real Tom behind Medium, and someone who is really like only flesh and blood, really trying to earn some money. From what I saw was like you studied, and then you wanted to travel, and this is somehow something that how you monetize, or you could do the traveling around the world. Am I right?
Yeah. I did some freelance writing for a while, and I had some remote jobs, but I never really had like a traditional 9-to-5 office job. So, and then I got into blogging in 2016 and kept freelancing in 2017 a little bit, and then late 2017 was when I made my first course, and I sold that, and then I've been kind of full-time creator ever since. And there's a lot of pressure when this is your whole life, like to keep creating content. Like you have to. That's how you feed the beast, and that's how you make more money and fill your funnel. And that's always been like the struggle for me. It's like I never feel like I get to really take a break. I feel like I've been writing nonstop for 6 years, and to a certain extent, I've gotten better as a writer because of that, and I've learned a lot. But on the other side of the spectrum, it's like, man, I'm burned out sometimes, and I wish that I could get some space. But I love writing, though. Like, that's the thing, Christy. I really love writing, and even if I wasn't getting paid for it, I'd be writing.
And I know one thing more is about ghostwriting. Maybe you want to share a bit more about this, because I read that you started ghostwriting for a client. Do you still do this in addition to being on Substack?
Yeah, I had a ghostwriting client on LinkedIn for from January of this year, and I'm still kind of posting for them a little bit because I promised them 36 posts, and we've been posting like twice a week. So we're kind of getting to the end of that contract now. I enjoyed it. I think it was interesting, but I love writing what I want to write. And the challenge for me was to take what somebody else was known for in a niche and try to get connected to it emotionally so that I could create something that was halfway decent. And that was a good challenge in empathy, I guess, and just trying to like find something in, their specific niche. I mean, they're writing leadership advice, like for executives and at companies. And I'm like, well, I've never worked even a 9-to-5 office job. So how can I even get into that world? And I started reading books about in their specific niche, and I started to kind of get well acquainted with a lot of the problems that executives have and leaders have. And I tried to like empathize with them and figure out like how I could write something that was, interesting and new and fresh. And I think I did a pretty decent job. It was a fun little experiment for 6 months, but I don't know if I'll ever do ghostwriting again. I like writing for myself and making my writing personal.
Hey, it's Christina. Do you want to stop chasing followers and start building an email list of people that like, love, and trust you? I'm here to help. Join my online writing community for more. I'd like to learn more about what you did on LinkedIn and how you grew your followers to 20,000, which is awesome, I think.
So basically, I got started on LinkedIn 2019. I was on Medium writing there, multiple times per week since basically 2016, late 2016. And in 2018, I decided to start my own vlog. And I promise this will lead back to LinkedIn. I just need to give some context. And I started this vlog. I wanted it to be like a travel vlog. I wanted it to be a daily vlog, just like kind of talking about my life and what I'm doing. I wanted to be Casey Neistat. I don't know if anybody here. Yeah. So I wanted to be him. And I went to the Philippines and I started my vlog there. And I actually started to make videos about the Philippines because I was staying there and I talked to so many people. I learned about some of the problems in that country, some of the great things in that country. I started making videos about the Philippines. And after I started doing that, my channel really took off on YouTube and like really took off. And around that time, like in 2018, I started to really start to get active on LinkedIn. In 2018, we kind of had a scare on media, and we kind of thought that in the middle of 2018, like the algorithm really punished my posts for some reason after like really gassing them up in the feed. And I think me and a lot of other writers were starting to get a little hesitant to publish on just Medium, just in case something would happen. So we decided to start publishing on LinkedIn. And I really loved, I originally like published articles on LinkedIn, like just copy pasted articles and published them as newsletters. But then I kind of got more involved in publishing like native short form content on LinkedIn. So maybe like a post that's anywhere from 100 to 200 words talking about a specific topic or lesson or just story from my life. And those started to do like pretty decently. And this was also a time when video was very, very popular on LinkedIn, and they really gassed up videos in the feed. When I mean like gas up, I mean like they're like promoting, like they're pushing videos a lot. Like LinkedIn goes through lots of different like time periods where they push videos more, and then they push polls more, and then they push this. Like they like to push different kinds of content. That's been their history. So I was right in the middle of my video making age, and I decided to just start publishing like maybe some short videos on LinkedIn. And I got some decent traction that way. And I started to gain a following. And I also started to publish, like in 2019, 2018, I started to publish content about the Philippines, like what I learned living there, like just some just basically digital nomad type content, like talking about like, oh, I did this in the Philippines, and then I did this, and then I met this person, and just shared pictures and shared videos of my experiences living there and traveling. And that really did well. I grew my following quite decently in those years. And so I grew to about maybe like 9,000 followers or so, or 10,000 within like a year and a half on LinkedIn, just publishing my travel related stuff. In around 2020, 2021, I kept publishing on LinkedIn. I kept growing my following, but 2021 was when I really started to see Medium kind of start to really dip in the amount of views that it was giving me. And I really saw a huge decrease in the amount of traction I was getting. And so I almost thought, I thought to myself, like, I might as well just kind of go full-time on LinkedIn. More full-time, let's say. I published on Medium for a while after that, but I decided like really focus more on LinkedIn. And I saw that Ship 30 for 30 with Nicholas Cole, that was doing really well. Like that whole like 30-day posting routine thing they were doing with a group of people. And I was like, maybe I should do a cohort. I did a cohort. I did it for free. I made people apply. I got applications. I chose like 40 people to come join me on this first sprint. And it did really well. Like we shared our posts with each other. We really developed a great habit, and we started a real movement on LinkedIn together. And it was wonderful. It was like I had been creating online courses for a while, and I had never saw a experience that intense before, like that gave that much results to people, and that people really loved that much, you know? And so at that point I decided to kind of go all in on LinkedIn sprints and make more. So that's kind of like the backstory of that, Christina. I hope that kind of helps. Yeah,
sure. And for all of those who don't know what these LinkedIn sprints are, what are they? Could you be a bit more specific here, Tom?
Sure. Yeah. So like what I would do is I would allow people to get into like a Slack channel with me. The first one was free, so they could join for free. But after that, I started charging. And so I explained to people what the program was, which is we're going to post together every day for 30 days, like including weekends. What we do is we post our notes, I'm in the Substack mode now. We posted our LinkedIn posts, we shared the links into the Slack channel, and then we went ahead and like, you know, like read each other's notes, maybe left some comments, responded, whatever. And we had live calls, we had live trainings during the program, and we just basically had an experience together for 30 days. It was intense. And I think that intensity really kind of bonded us together in a weird way. And that's basically the gist of how the sprint was run.
You figured out that engagement was a big driver, and with your sprints, you really help people to, you know, on the one hand, do this cold style thing and a dicky thing that you like become a public writer and publish 30 days in a row, which is awesome. Yeah, to strengthen your writing muscle. And on the other hand, really to, you know, you're like a pro on LinkedIn and learned a lot from posting, and know that engagement is so important. Am I right about this?
Yeah, exactly. And like back in the early days of LinkedIn when I was there, like 2018 to 2020, 2021 even, it was well known that if you got if you were really involved on LinkedIn and if you researched how to grow there, like a lot of times you would hear that if you got 5 comments within the first hour of posting, that would boost your post in the feed, and you get more likes and comments, and you'd reach a wider audience. And that really worked for us the first couple programs. Like that worked in spades. And I actually like had everybody kind of like share links to their posts at the same time. And I'll just be honest, we gamed the algorithm. That's what we did. And I think like looking back, I think there were some issues there. There were maybe some things I would have done differently, but at the same time, we did find a lot of success for clients, especially in those first couple sprints. And LinkedIn was really like back then. It really rewarded personal stories and personal storytelling, and I really love that about LinkedIn. And that kind of changed in 2022. I started my sprints in 2021. In 2022, it kind of changed, and LinkedIn wanted to, give people more expert advice and like actual tips, and they wanted to kind of move away from the selfies and like the selfie videos and all that kind of stuff on LinkedIn. And that really kind of sucked for me, but at the same time, I had to change and evolve and make my program different to fit their needs, to fit the needs of my clients. So it was an interesting way of trying to, LinkedIn was changing and I had to change my program at the same time, and everything was really kind of hard for a while there. Honestly, it was a struggle. So yeah.
Tom, could you share a bit more about the situation today? Because I know that you are at the moment no longer offering these LinkedIn sprints. What's the reason, and how changed LinkedIn now in 2024?
Yeah, it's a good question. Like I haven't been posting there really since 2020, like early 2024, which is like this year. But I don't know. Sorry, January of this year. So we're recording this in July. So I haven't really published there for 6 months or so. And I decided to stop publishing there, not really because I thought LinkedIn was just like this awful platform or whatever. I really love Substack. I really vibe with I've been on a lot of platforms. I've done well on a lot of platforms, but I just feel like I'm kind of so sick of what I see on social media half the time. And I feel like Substack is that next evolution in social media, where to a more real type of content that I really love, writing and creativity, and people are more real on Substack. And I really gravitated towards that. And I talked about that too on Substack, and people really resonated with me. And I'm like, why are my posts doing so well? It's because I feel like I'm among kindred spirits. And on LinkedIn, I feel like I'm not. I feel like LinkedIn it definitely has my target audience there, but I feel like LinkedIn is more professionals and leaders, and that's great. Like, that's good for them. And I think like if you make that type of work related content, you're going to do great on LinkedIn. And I think even personal development and stuff does great on LinkedIn, and even writing advice, you could do that too. But I just feel like I really am hitting, my people are on Substack, and I really want to make hay when the sun shines, because I did that on Medium from like, from 2017 to 2020, I really made hay there. And I made the mistake in that time of trying to be on all these other platforms. Like I tried to be on YouTube, I tried to be on Instagram, like I tried to be everywhere. And I wish that I might have just gone full time into Medium. But at the end of the day, everything that I did in my life has led me to here, and I've learned a lot, and maybe it was all for the good at the end of the day. So yeah.
Why do you think this was a mistake? Because the idea of not putting all eggs in one basket, I think, is pretty smart. And
Yeah.
do you think you could have made more money? Is it like all about money then for you, or building an audience?
I think it's more just just not having all of your eggs in one basket that's a very good strategy. I think that what I ended up doing with my videos, like I really kind of had two lives, kind of three. I had my Medium writing, I had my LinkedIn writing, and then I had my videos that I would make on Facebook and YouTube. And my videos, I feel like I spent so much time on those videos, and I creatively, I just didn't really feel like super just invested in making those videos. I got a lot of views and I got a lot of followers, and like I made some good money from it, but I would have made a lot more money if I had just focused on Medium. And I wonder whether I should have just focused on becoming a better writer and focused more on Medium, and maybe had LinkedIn on the side, and maybe written somewhere else like Substack if I wanted to, rather than like put so much time on something that I wasn't really like a 100% invested in, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's more so what I was hoping to say there. And yeah.
Still, what I now see is, or what I saw from the past is that you somehow built this flywheel. So this flywheel between LinkedIn and YouTube, which I think was awesome. And then there was also Medium. Am I right? So you had like this triangle between YouTube, LinkedIn, and Medium. Could you share a bit more about this?
I'm trying to think. Excuse me, trying to think exactly how they all connected, because I would sometimes repost my vlogs that I put on YouTube on LinkedIn. Sometimes I would reshare some of the videos that I shot for my vlogs that I would later edit into a storyline. Sometimes I would share the raw footage on LinkedIn. Sometimes I would take videos of just me traveling and put them on LinkedIn, which, you know, that was kind of how my YouTube and my LinkedIn kind of connected there. Trying to think how my Medium writing. I mean, my travels and what I learned in the Philippines was the way that connected to my Medium writing. It really influenced what I was writing about and how I viewed the world, and it made me a better writer by living there for so long. I've lived there for 2 years, and I learned a lot about poverty and corruption and, you know, like just life from those great people over there in the Philippines, you know. And I think that's the only thread that I can kind of think of now. But to answer your question about like how maybe I think of my content now with LinkedIn and Substack, like I actually republish a lot of the Medium stuff that I posted onto my Substack. Like basically everything that you see on my Mind of a Writer publication is just reposted stuff from Medium that I wrote like years ago. I check to see if it's like still relevant. If it's not relevant, I don't post it. I change the details as well just to make sure that it's updated, and I make sure that like it's something that's valuable to people on Substack, because, you know, they haven't been exposed to it yet. And these ideas are still good. So I republish a lot of that stuff from Medium. And I also republish a lot of the stuff that I wrote on LinkedIn in the LinkedIn posts. I republish that on Substack sometimes. I don't really do that much anymore, but at the start I was doing that because it kind of helped me just kind of test things out and see if notes were viable. And so I really learned short form from LinkedIn. I learned long form writing on Medium, and now on Substack I get to do both of them at the same time on the same platform. And so, you know, and yeah, like that's basically kind of how that influenced where I am today.
Hey, it's Christina, and I believe true fulfillment comes from creating work that we genuinely love and believe in. If you say, Christina, I feel this too, then subscribe to my show for more. You have the campfire, you have your 2 Substack newsletters, and what else do you have in store for us in 2024?
I don't know if I have anything else. You know, we're going to do another Substack campfire. I think we're going to figure that out. We're thinking some ideas for how we might change the value prop and how we might try to do it differently the next time. But I still have my Substack course. I won't update that until next year. And I'll just keep writing on my paid newsletters. You know, I'm going to try to start a paid newsletter for my Finding Tom publication, like trying to make a paid edition in addition to the free stuff that I publish. And I'll keep writing the letters with my dad, you know, and all that. And so I just want to find a nice balance where I can get into a rhythm, a routine on Substack. I feel like I have so many projects already. The last thing I want to do is put more on my plate. And I did that in the past, and it came back to bite me. So I'm going to try to just focus on those things for now. For me, in my season of life, this is what I want to do. I don't want to tell people like, oh, just, you know, like forget about Medium and only go like, no, like you're mentioned, like people are making money, and that money that they're making is making a difference. Like if people are even like an extra $50 can go a long way. I mean, that can fill up your gas tank. And like if people are making money on Medium, go right ahead. Like just republish the stuff you would publish on Substack right on Medium. Do it and try to figure out that game. Like listen to Christina. Like learn how the game on Medium is right now. And you know, but I guess just for me specifically in my season of life, I feel like I'm ready to go full time on Substack and just see what can happen from that. And the fact that I get to like export my subscribers is really nice for me. And like if anything happens to Substack, God forbid, which it might, I can just export those subscribers and take them somewhere else and start up somewhere else. So that makes me feel a little bit better.
When you started on Medium and doing all the other stuff with Link and YouTube and so on, did you back then also start building a list? And how big is your list?
Like in the heyday of like Medium back in like 2020, 2019, I was getting like, I don't know, like close to like 1,000 subscribers per month. Just for my 5-day course, which was nice. Like if I was getting like 1,000 subscribers per month, like I was doing a pretty good job. Obviously a lot of them would unsubscribe at some point after they got the 5-day course, or just they were tired of me, which I get it. So I think like I never really had a list. I probably had like a standing list of about 9K people for a while there. And ever since like 2021, that list started to slowly dwindle down, and it has dwindled down to about 5,000, my personal list. So I have about 5,000 people on the list now, and that's okay. It's great, honestly, it's great. So, but on Substack, that's where my growth has really come, and like 15,000 across all my newsletters. Mind Over Writers like 11,000, and my other ones are like my one with my dad and my one with my personal writing is 1,500 each. And then I think the Substack Campfire is 1,000.
Yeah. And did you tell your 5,000 subscribers that you're now on Substack so that you somehow could...
Yeah, get them over. Yeah. I did that. I think like July last year, and I've been shouting out my newsletters to that list ever since, weekly sometimes, but I also like shouted out I also did a goodbye like post on Medium. I was like, hey, like I'm leaving, like this is where I'm going to be posting, and this is where you can find my work moving forward. And so that's basically all I did to start on Substack. Yeah.
And are you now building your newsletter all from like the inside out with notes and everything, or also from the outside in, meaning do you use any other platforms to promote your newsletter?
No, I just use Substack. And maybe that's to my detriment, and I would be the first one to admit that. But I just find like going all in on Substack for me is nice because I get to really analyze notes, and I get to become like, I don't know, I get to really understand how the notes ecosystem works, and I like that. Instead of like having my attention kind of pulled in a lot of different directions. I can really go deep on one. But, if Substack ever does kind of stop being so great, like the Substack notes, I'm kind of shit out of luck. And I'll be honest about that, and I feel like, somebody who has like many more eggs in all the other baskets, like they'll be ready to weather the storm. And for me, I'm kind of at this season of like, when did I start loving this phrase so much? This season of life where like, if this doesn't work, that's okay. Maybe I'll try to get a job somewhere, and that's it. That'll be it for me. Part of me is like, I love writing online, but at the same time, I would love to take the pressure off of that for me. And maybe getting a job could be a fun change of pace. I don't know.
I'd like to know why you love living in Mexico City.
Yeah, I asked my wife this yesterday. I was like, Mom, my mom told me that scientists say that, the city is going to be disappeared in like 100 years because it's sinking. It's like sinking by like 8 to 12 inches per year or something like that. I'm not sure. So yeah, I love living here, and I honestly want to get out of here, Christine. I'll be honest, but I have loved living here because of the culture, obviously, the food. This is where my wife lives. There's some beautiful parts of Mexico City with some beautiful architecture, beautiful, like public parks, and there's just like an energy. There's just an energy here in the city that's really interesting, and a style that's really striking. And there's a lot of history here too. There's pyramids, 2,000-year-old pyramids outside of the city limits, and there's pyramids that they found digging and building the foundation for a building, and they just happened upon like the Aztecs' most important pyramid right down in the center of the city. And so that happened in the 80s, and which is now it's a museum. So I really love the weather as well. So for all of those reasons, I like living here, and also it's really not that expensive. I'll tell you that. So yeah.
And what's your favorite Mexican dish?
Well, I mean, you can't go wrong with tacos, obviously. I mean, tacos is it's always going to be the thing that we say, but I also love this thing called guacalotas. So it's like a tamale, but they put it inside a bun. So it's like a sub. It's like a tamale sub or something like that, right? And it's fantastic. They sell it on the street. People have like a huge tin, a cylinder full of tamales, and they have the bread there already there. Take the tamale out, it's steaming hot. They put it on the bread, wrap it up, they give it to you. It's $1 or €1, I guess. And I love eating them. They're fantastic. But there's a lot of other like really great food that you can find here, like chilaquiles, and obviously enchiladas, and yeah, just like so many great stuff. But there's also like a lot of great international food here. Like there is a Vietnamese restaurant in the city that is fantastic, and it's like, so I took Dahlia to go get pho there, like the soup, and she loved it. And I was like, I told you, Vietnamese food, they know what they're doing over there. They really do. So anyway, that's
I need to come visit you in Mexico City then, because
please
I love Vietnamese food. Nice. But you want to leave Mexico, and why do you want to leave it?
Well, it's not really for anything. I mean, I want to be around my parents more. I've lived abroad for like 6 years now, and I kind of want to live near my parents and my family more. I want to see them more. I want to be more involved. My brother and sister both had kids, and I don't know. I kind of want to be more involved. But also, like my wife, she has her master's degree in political science. She is incredibly smart. We have many spirited debates about certain things, and she's helped me see the U.S. differently. And U.S.-Mexico relations are very complicated, to say the least. And it's been interesting to hear her talk about things and help me see things differently. But she just cannot. It's very hard for her to find work here, and it's not so much that she's not like qualified. It's more so that there's corruption, and she applies for a job, and she actually has a better resume than the person that's hiring, and they end up choosing their friend, and it's just completely corrupt. It's just completely it's just a mess. And I told her, I was like, you could make more money working at a Chipotle, which is a Mexican restaurant in the United States. So you could make more money working there minimum wage than you could be working here, like at the highest position that you could probably find. And I think she just kind of got sick of that, and she was like, let's just go. But maybe we can just go. Let's just go. And it kind of sucks because she really wants to, make a difference here in Mexico. She got into political science because she has been she's lived in poverty. She's seen the worst of what corruption and poverty can do, and she wants to fix that. And she can't even get a job to fix it, to play a part in that. And I feel really bad for her. I really do.
And is there something that you could say in Spanish?
Muchas gracias, Cristina, para tenerme aquí en tu serie. Fue muy divertido y encanto de conocerte. It's something like, thank you so much, Christina, for having me on your show. It's been great to meet you, and everything like that. So it's broken Spanish. So for everybody, like, go ahead and give me some critiques in the comments of how I can improve. But I said what I needed to say for the most part. So yeah.
What do you love about America? Why do you wanna, besides your parents, go back to America then?
Okay, to answer your question, it's things work. The roads are like basically, like, I guess you would say soft in Spanish, like the calles son suaves, like they're soft. But like here in Mexico, like everything, like the infrastructure's leaves a little bit to be desired sometimes. It's more comfortable in the States, I think, in a lot of ways. And I just want to feel that comfort again, to a certain extent. But I have a newfound appreciation for the States because I left like 2018, and I had a very like clear idea of what I did not like about the States when I left. But as I visited other countries like the Philippines and like Mexico and Thailand, all these great countries, I really saw like a level of poverty I had never seen in my life before, and that really had a profound impact on me. And I was really naive back then, but I really started to appreciate and like still have this criticism of my home country a little bit. So, my thoughts on the United States have changed a lot the past couple of years for sure with my experiences. And I don't know. I'm still not 100% sure if we're making the right decision. It's something I have to talk to my wife about too. Like I try to talk to her about it. I'm like, are you sure you want to do this? This is going to change our whole life. It's going to change the whole direction of our life. Their kids' lives, like everything is going to change now. Like this is a huge monumental step. And I'm just not sure if you are ready for it, like truly ready. Like if you could look into the future 10 years and see what our life will be, I wonder if you'll really want to leave, And a lot of takeaways, a lot of good and bad to it, but I'm really not sure, Christine. I'll be honest. I'm really not sure if I'm making the right decision, but she will make more money, and healthcare is better in the States, I think, a little bit, and there are a lot of great amenities of living in the U.S. So I guess my biggest problem is affording it.
Yeah, so I love everything, Tom, everything you shared with me. And I love that somehow I now can connect with this Tom from 2020 and now who Tom Kuegler is now in 2024. And I bet many, many people fell in love now with your writing and you and sharing all these stuff, because so many people struggle and they feel this pressure. And if you as a full-time creator are sharing that you're also feeling this pressure, and now with your wife and everything's going on in Mexico and your plans moving to America, where do we find you? What are the places you'd recommend to connect with you?
Yeah, just follow me over on Substack. So just two newsletters I'll tell you to go take a look at that I'm most proud of is Mind of a Writer on Substack. So you can go mindofawriter.com. That's my website. I connected my website URL to my Substack, and then also my Letters with My Dad. So it's called Letters with My Father. That's a publication on Substack. letterswithmyfather.substack.com, I believe. Excuse me. And yeah, I'm creating some of the work that I'm most proud of there with my dad. So I'd love for you to take a look and tell us what you think of that. So that'd be great.
So Tom, many, many thanks. It was delightful. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, Christina. Awesome to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next episode.